After a not so stellar closed beta test too, the team is back with another beta. Unfortunately, these guys are against sharing any information about the upcoming tests, including the starting date, so I suppose we are supposed to guess when the test starts. Still, even with this lack of information, I figured it would be nice to gather around scraps of info to make this video, as I have been following this game since CBT 1 and started making videos about it when CBT 2 was still around. First off, it's important to know that this CBT will probably go live in the middle of April and last a month, just like CBT 2, which would mean the release is in somewhere around at the end of June, but they will probably go with the Wuthering Waves route and announce the release 1.5 months before it, so we'll finally have an official release date. Before we start, I want you to know that Hoyoverse usually does betas more for publicity than they do for feedback, so I'd say don't expect huge changes. A quick overview would be 2 to 3 new characters, a new endgame mode featuring double squad challenges like with their other games, new zones including an extension to the 6th Street, which is kind of like the hub world of Zenless, game balancing, and additional story. Now these are the most likely ones, but if you go into the speculation and changes from across different betas, then the most anticipated change is to the TV game mode. This is what the community calls it, but it's basically an intermission game mode that simulates your characters moving from fight to fight. The issue was that it took too much of the gameplay time of Zenless and it was nowhere near as fun as the combat, which is the main focus of the game. Another big controversy point was how the character models were changed due to some regulations that they had to follow, which mainly showed in the animations and model of Nicole. Unless they are planning on creating more controversy, there won't be any more major changes to the character models and animations. Lastly, the arcade mode wasn't all that well received since it's basically old school games like Snake altered in some way to make them fit the aesthetics of the game. These don't add more to the base game since they are completely different from the main experience, but Hoyo keeps on insisting with arcade events and probably new modes. There's a big chance they will add an additional mode to the arcade, but once the novelty wears off, I don't think anyone will play them. Which is why they will probably attach gacha currency to their events, making them the minigame equivalents of their previous games' events. Keep in mind that at the time of making this video, we still haven't got the CBT 3 trailer, so confirmed info is quite limited, but we know that this will be the last test, meaning we should see a near ready game, and the difference between this and release should mostly be bugs and balancing. About the characters, we should get a new limited, which might be Zhu Yuan, but don't expect to see the older limited characters that showed up in previous beta tests, like Ellen, and even though it's not confirmed that she is the limited, Miyabi. What will not be changing is the energy system that a lot of people complained about and was seen as a step back from the story experience of other Hoyoverse games, such as Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. Basically, the story is gated behind energy that accumulates over time, and while this is quite common among gacha games, it was abandoned from Hoyoverse games after Honkai Impact 3rd. I think that the structure of the game is more suited for this, and Hoyo will give free energy packs from time to time so players can get through the story. Another system that will most likely stay the same is combat. It's true that between CBT 1 and CBT 2 there were some gameplay related changes, but inside of CBT 2 the combat was well received and almost completely established, which is why they will probably only make minor adjustments. New systems for combat may be established, but the backbone of it should remain the same. Some people were saying that the last beta would include microtransactions and Hoyoverse would return the in-game currency to the owner's accounts at release, but with how Star Rail's 3rd beta worked, I don't think this beta will include any microtransactions. That should be all, but if I missed anything or you guys have other expectations about this 3rd beta, I'd love to know them in the comments down below. Happy waiting!